Hello, happy Friday. Hello, everybody. Thank you for joining, and I hope you're having a good week. Um, this week on Friday Night Files, I am going to be joined by Ian Wood. Also going to be joined by co-host Colin Hilty, who's the main anger man, really. And our special guest is a guy called Rick Allen. You probably might have heard of him before. He's got some fantastic theories about aliens, Dogman, and the way it's all structured. I'm just going to get that banner off. Let's have a little look, right? And just going to put this up as well. Right. Okay. First of all, I'm going to get the guys up. Let's have a look. First of all, Mr. Colin Kilty. Hello, Colin.
Hello, hey Phil. Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm hoping it's going to be a fantastic one tonight, like it always is, Phil, especially with you.
Yeah. Well,
Gets
there you go.
better. I know you just shine.
Yeah. Oh, if only you meant that. If only you meant that, really. I'll take it anyway. I'll
Can you
take
see
it where I
that
can
doll
get
from
it.
here with pins in?
I'll still take it. I'll take it whether I can get it, really. And we have Ian. Hello, Ian.
All right. How are you
doing? Yeah, good to see you. How's it going?
Yeah, good, thanks.
Good.
Busy, work, etc.
I think we all are, to be honest. I know, Phil, you texted me earlier, didn't you, saying, "Are you at work?" And I said, "Yeah, I know what you mean."
Yeah.
Oh,
So, guys, we've got Rick Allen on. Okay, I'm going to bring him up in a minute. As you know, he's got some really fantastic theories. Okay, and so I'm going to just get him up right this moment.
Hi, Phil.
Oh, hang on,
guys.
How you doing, Rick? You all right?
Hi, Rick.
Yeah, fine, thank you.
Good. Oh, Colin, got a question.
Diploma, I have. Yes, I have.
Okay.
I mean, you've mentioned this before, haven't you, Phil? You was going to do it. Yes, it cost me quite a few £100. You have to put a lot of hours in, a lot of essays, and you can't just copy and paste from books, because when your papers go away to get marked, they told me this, they'll totally go through them, and they know all the books and they know who's. So it takes months for the paperwork to be actually graded. I did fail one module. If I remember right, there was 18 modules. I did fail one of them, which I thought was one of my great subjects, which was the Kraken. But I did fail that. But I passed all the others. But it's the essays, sometimes the 500, 800,000 words plus. But yes, I have got a diploma in cryptozoology, and it does take some doing. That's all I'm going to say. You was going to go for it, weren't you?
Brilliant. Yeah, I was thinking about doing it, I was thinking, should I do it? But it's one of these things where it's as you've done it, there's no point in me doing it.
Well, I'll just copy mine and take the name off and put yours in.
Yeah, see, I'll just Tipex it out, really. Yeah, just Tipex it out.
Tipex it, yeah, that's it.
It's a good thing. It's a good, I think it is a good thing to have. It is a diploma. You are right. It's I must point out, it's not university or academically recognised in university as that. That I must tell people that out there. But yes, it is. You do get issued a diploma. So it's a good thing. I think it was only 1970s it first actual course
first came out. That's right. Yeah.
And
I saw it many years ago, but it was just a few thousand, wasn't it? Then it slowly went down. I think I paid on a special offer. I think it was £300. But I mean, it doesn't make you a better person. I just wanted to do it for my own satisfaction, really. I mean, I have letters after my name, but none that you can repeat. But yeah, but no, it is good to do. And if anybody gets the chance out there to do it, go for it. I tell you now, I just bang down for months and months just writing essays and reading and writing them. But yeah, at the end of it, when they say you've passed, you think, wow, I've done it.
Okay.
But yeah, like I say, it is good to do, Phil. You go for it, Phil. I don't see why you do it.
Yeah. Do you know what? It's taken so it's just time, mate. Because it's like I'm trying
I
to
can
get
help
my
you with
book.
your name. I
I
can help you write
know,
it.
but I could just like copy and paste it. It's just I'm trying to get my book finished by the end of summer if I can, and
Really?
that's taking
Okay.
up time.
I don't.
You know,
Everything takes
it's
time,
more of a
isn't it? Everything we
pamphlet,
do.
really. It's going to be more of a pamphlet. But yeah, I'm trying to get that done if I can, you know. But yeah, it's time's a bit of an issue, especially when you're working like me, ain't you? So it's like kind of you've got your day job,
Non-stop,
then you've
isn't
got
it?
this. It's
I
a
can't wait for
struggle,
the
mate.
retirement. I really can't to do this full time. I really would. Do it tomorrow.
Yeah, yeah, be lovely. It'll be lovely. It'll free us all up. Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Right. Ian and Rick, you both know each other from a few years back, I gather.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Right. And Rick, can you give us a rough outline of your study reference, your briefing? If you were to give a briefing, if I was to ask you briefly, what is your referencing on your research?
I'm trying to understand where all the paranormal and cryptid phenomena is coming from and where it is going, because it's clearly heading somewhere. And the sort of things, the ideas they put forward to what they have been filled, don't match, they don't fit. You know, for example, if you want to take the Dogman as a cryptid, I can't possibly see how that's a natural occurring animal. There's certain things about that are flawed. So the first thing is they're not on the fossil record, yet they've been found in America, South America, Europe, Asia, and Australasia, yet there is nothing in the fossil record. And that would be a sign of being genetically engineered. The second thing is the dogmen have parts together that didn't exist in nature. So you do not have an opposable hand and thumb on the front limbs and paws on the back limbs. If you have hands, you'll have feet. If you have paws on the front, you'll have paws on the back. There's no natural evolutionary route to explain why these features are together. The other thing about the cryptids in general, including the dogmen, is how is it that every other natural occurring species is declining and yet only the cryptids are on increase? How is that possible?
Good point.
Um,
That.
why is it that we're seeing the same behaviour with the cryptids all around the world? So the dogmen in Canada behave like the dogmen in England. The dogmen in Australia are behaving like the dogmen in Europe. You know, I'm talking about running in front of cars. I'm talking about tapping on windows. I'm talking about running alongside cars, allowing people to see them, and of course, turning up at people's houses. That these are not the actions of a natural species. These are actions of something that has an agenda. And
That's great.
even if we use the dogman as an example, it applies everywhere to all the so-called cryptids. So my theory is that they are an engineered species. They're here for a reason. And
Right.
that reason is at some point they will walk out of the woods, will take control.
My question was, I'll say it again. What is your briefing reference? So basically, what did you undertake to study? How did you come to determine this? What is your briefing reference? What did you use to
Well,
determine the outcome of this theory?
are you talking about my route into the cryptids?
Well, yeah. I mean, let's take cryptids for a
For the
start.
very young life, right? For the very young life, I was into wildlife, and naturally, the stuff about Nessie came up. So, for a very young age, I've had an interest in what the cryptids are. You know, I didn't think that I was going to think what they actually turned out to be. But by the time I was age 24, I realised that science was wrong in the things they were claiming. So for almost the past 30 years, I've worked on the one single theory that can explain all the phenomena that's getting seen. And the cryptids are a group of six, I call them. There's 6 humanoid groups that every single culture in the world, going back the past 10,000 years, has encountered one way or another, Phil. So you've got the aliens, you've got the divinities such as the angels and goddess, you've got the cryptids, you've got the demonics, such as the Wendigo, crawlers, rakes, you've got the humans, such as the MIB, and I include the Fee in that. And finally, you have the group called the Emies, that I call the Emies, which is the shadow people. Every single society in the world is experiencing at least one of these humanoid forms. And the reason they're such diverse is so that we do not realise what they are, that they're part of a military force.
Okay, Rick, can you explain to us the acronyms that you're using? The PETCHA. What is the PETCHA? What's that acronym?
That when I come to believe that it was another group of humans from another planet Earth, I had to come up with a name that captured what they are, but also defined the difference between us. So PESHA stands for parasitic, engineered, cannibalistic, human aggressor. So the acronym PESHA is what I use to refer to these other humans, the ones that are behind everything. The Anunnaki, the Greys, they're all just workers for this civilization. They don't want us to know that it's another group of humans that is behind everything that's going on.
Okay, the PETCHA are parasitic. I mean, parasites either live on the host or they live in the host, and they live off of that said host. Right. So why did you use that word parasitic?
Because see, on any planet Earth, and eventually it comes to an end when the sun expands and consumes the planet. For these beings that want to be immortal, they have to find another planet Earth in order to try and capture. So they're coming in, they're immortal, they no longer have children, they no longer have families. Okay, so what they do is they come into a planet Earth and try and divert the course of the planet Earth in order that it's handed over to them, and then they take control of it. So if you truly want immortality, Phil, you have to get off your planet Earth.
Okay, I got you. But once again, why do you use the word parasitic? What are they parasitic of? I know they come to planet Earth, and I know they're us, right? So they're as I say, parasites.
Well,
they live off.
See those missing civilizations.
Yeah,
the missing civilizations. I believe they harvested. They give a small culture, agriculture, and astronomy. They build these massive stone calendars that allows them to plant over a great distance, and then they come, they take the people, and they let the land revert to back to wild. So this is why in the Amazon now they're finding farm structures underneath what they thought was virgin forest. They reckon there's maybe up to 20 million people living there. Where did they go?
Okay. Rick, we have Rivington Pike Beast who sent a message. Hello, mate. How you doing? Evening all. We as humans are born with fast moisting eye movement. Do you think that's why the Bigfoot, etc., moves slow so they don't distract you? What do you think?
Well, to be honest with you, I'm not sure what that is that you're talking about, Lee. So I'm not sure about that at all, mate. Sorry.
I would, looking at it, I would probably surmise what it means is we as humans are born with fast. So basically, we will see something that moves easier than we see something which actually is. If you go walking in the woods, you go walking in the forest, or even in Tesco's. If someone's hiding behind the cold meat counter and absolutely still, you probably won't notice them. You'll walk past. But if they're moving and they're kind of like doing this, you will see them. We notice things which are moving. That's the way that we're actually set up. So I think that's what he's getting at. Do you think that Bigfoot is on purpose, like moving slower, or so it doesn't get detected?
Look, I believe that they have cloaking abilities. You know, they have ways to disengage with who's looking at them. So that's what I would say. And they move quicker because they're using some sort of unknown power to move themselves. They shouldn't be able to move so quick as they can. So I'm not quite sure about the answer to that, to be honest with you, Phil.
Okay, what do you reckon, guys? What do you reckon to that? Excuse me, sorry. What do you think to that? Do you think that they're on purpose? They're moving slower so they're not detected?
I don't
Well,
know really. Go on, Ian. Sorry.
I was going to say I wouldn't know if there was something on purpose. I mean, every time I've seen them, I mean, I've seen it. I mean, not because they were moving slow or fast. It's just the movement. It's either there or it's not. I mean,
No, it's not.
you can sense something's there, but if it stood right in front of you and then it just, I mean, twice I've had Dogman werewolves right in front of me, and then it's just like a fast blur when it's just started running. It started just rapid speed. I've had a brown one and a black one.
Yeah.
But whether it's deliberate, I mean, you can literally walk on top of them and catch them by surprise. And you know, it's only happened to me twice, but you know, they're like, how the hell did you see me? Or you could just, it's like bumping into someone in a queue. You're not looking. But if it's done on purpose, to be honest, I wouldn't know. But I just think, you know, sometimes they do some things deliberately to be seen, or they wanted to be seen, or form a connection. But I think most of the time, any contact situation is just haphazard. They're there, and that's it.
Yeah, I agree there, Ian. Yeah.
What do you think, Cole?
No, I agree with Ian. To be honest, I mean, what Rick's just said as well is obviously, you know, I agree with that as well. But I agree with Ian. It's they're there, they're not. You know, again, you know, I've had two face-to-face encounters, and they've just walked in front of me. Bang, you know, they're there. It's me that's ran, not them. So, you know, I don't think they move slow on purpose. And I don't know really. I don't really can answer that one. They're just they're either there or they're moving. It's either or.
I think I honestly do believe that they're while they're on our, if you like, plane of existence, I think they are conscious of us. They almost see us as we see them. And this is something I'll talk a little bit later about, but I think that why they sort of disappear and just morph out, and I think it's because they're only like avatars to us, and we're avatars to them. They kind of they zone into our plane. We see them, they see us. We get that sense of view. We sense them looking at us. Once again, the word of the month, scopy sepia, is a thing. We can sense people looking at us, and I think we're you know, I think we're aware of it, and they're also aware of us. And I think they just kind of zone out again of our frame of existence. I think that's personally what I think. But you know, who's to know? We've got PW4534. I had the infrasound too, Rob, and missing time. My full testimony is on how to hunt. The thumbnail is an alleged Bigfoot in Buckinghamshire. Oh, interesting. Okay. Now, listen, if you're listening to this and you hear feedback, I'm really, really sorry. It's we've got a little bit of feedback coming through on one of the channels, but hopefully it's not unbearable. It just means you hear my voice double. Dragonborn, hello, Dragonborn. Ian, what do you think these cryptids are here for?
Me?
Yes.
Yeah, you.
Ooh. Right. I believe they are visitors came down. Whether you call them the Anarchy or the Apsu, or you know, the original Lord of Heaven was called Lord Anu, and they wanted workers or slaves, or whether Queen Tiamat organized or biologically back engineered certain species to form a workforce or for guarding. I mean, one of the 7 beasts she created was the hairy man.
Mm.
And then obviously we have the various legends of how werewolves or great wolves came into existence. The one was the king of Arcadia persuading Zeus to eat the flesh of his dead son. For these punishments, Zeus turned him into the first werewolf, King Lycos of Arcadia. But I believe these things are somehow genetically manipulated, crossbred. I mean, if we take the DNA studies done in America with the late Scott Carpenter and David Paulides on the Sabe people, the Bigfoot, it's 90% plus human female DNA, male DNA unknown. But you look at the Scott Gemlin film, and it's the female Bigfoot. Now, I think you've seen the photo of the female werewolf I got in Nooney Woods, where she's half in, half out. But you can clearly see a chest. And, they're human female breasts. So maybe there's some form of engineered cross species that were originally designed for a specific purpose. And somehow, whether these other beings have retreated or hiding or whatever they're doing, the creatures got out of the Garden of Paradise and run amok.
Run well.
Yeah.
Rick, got another question. How this is from PW4534. How do cryptids cause missing time?
That's a good one.
The cryptids are able to produce frequencies that interfere with our minds. What I suspect that's happening with the missing time is they're hitting an exact location in the brain. Before I go into that, see how everybody talks about the severe dread and the severe fear when a cryptid's present. It's like nothing else. The part of the brain that responds with fear is the amygdala. It's been shown that if you stimulate the amygdala with electrical energy, it produces these fears. So this is where I believe it's coming from the intense fears. But I also believe they could produce different frequencies to affect different parts of the brain. And what they're essentially doing with the missing time is I think they're virtually entrancing people, putting them into a deep hypnotic state, and then bang, take them out of the deep hypnotic state a few hours later.
Yeah.
It could only be something like that. And missing time is also associated with aliens, associated with the Fae, associated with the cryptids, and the other the ones that I'm saying are all part of the same force. This force all has the same abilities. So the aliens can mind speak, the cryptids can mind speak, the Fae can mind speak. They're given all these abilities in order to separate them from what they really are as genetically modified humans. We know that pets go crazy long before cryptids are seen. Dogs in a house will go berserk. Black-eyed kids at the door and the pets are going mental because they exude something. The human body exudes an electromagnetic field up to 3 feet outside the body. Their field seems to be hundreds of meters further. So they're producing stuff that could interfere with cameras, that can make lights flicker. That has to be electromagnetic energy that they're producing to make these camera equipment fail. And then when the person leaves the area, when they're away from the cryptid, they come back on. So they're using their abilities to jam electronics. But as the brain is an electrical organ, you hit the right frequency and you're able to shut the brain down and make the person stand there and not realise they went into a trance. When they come out of the trance, they're still in the exact same position. They're still thinking they're at the same place. So that's how I think they're doing it, with some sort of manipulation of the brain with electromagnetic energy.
That's a good answer.
Right. Okay. Electromagnetic energy.
Yeah.
We do have a certain amount of electromagnetic energy from the point of view of we have synapses which fire neurons, which kind of there's an electrical current which works inside of us, mostly in our brains, really. We also have it, which fires the fast twitch muscle groups. That's electrical energy which runs through into the
That's
muscle
right.
groups, and that's why sprinters like it hasn't. When you say that that we have a 3-foot radius of electromagnetic energy, it was barely detectable, Rick, at 3 foot.
Yeah, that's correct. But what I'm saying, Phil, is that these entities have been engineered with bioelectric producing organs, like say, organs that are found in the electric eel. There's over 500 fish use electricity for hunting, living, some sort of thing. When these entities are engineered, these bioelectric organs are in their bodies in order to produce the massive electric field. I'll give you a better example. When it all goes quiet and nothing can be heard,
Osborne effect.
in order
Yeah.
for the wind to stop blowing, in order for to hear the noise, the electromagnetic energy is acting as a buffer. It's radiating out. So the people are in this bubble, and only when the cryptid breaks the bubble do they then able to hear again. So they have to be producing electromagnetic energy, Phil. There's no other way to get around about it. And they have to be doing it organically. So it stands to reason that they must have taken the organs of the eel and adapted them. See, an electric eel could take control another fish at distance. It's able to manipulate its own nervous system and hold it. That's exactly what the cryptids are doing.
Right. Okay. Yeah. All right. I got you. Why is it then that when I take my trimeter out or EMF out, I can't detect anything when I'm in when I'm in the woods?
Well,
And I've seen these things, but on my EMF, my trimeter, it hasn't read any EMF. Why is that?
they seem to have the ability to switch on and switch off. And the other thing is, Phil, they know you're looking for them. I'm not saying it happens all the time. I'm saying when it does happen, when often the sense of dread, the sense of anxiety, the sense of feeling watched before you see anything, that shouldn't be happening because your amygdala is not receiving any visual information or sensory information at all, and yet it's gone berserk. Yet it's
Okay.
screaming to you, run, anxiety, dread, the feeling of being watched.
Yeah. I've had that. Have you had that, guys? Have you had that feeling?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
Yeah.
totally
Yeah.
agree with Vic there. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I've only ever had one real bad case, and that was the one I think I told you guys where it was like 200 meters in front of me, and it was I could feel it was so hungry. If it saw me, I was lunch, and yet it was still telling me go. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have a question.
See the electromagnetic energy. It's making a bridge between them and you. That's what allows the mind speak to happen. It's almost like it's a burst of energy that's going straight into your brain. But there seems to be a limit to where the mind speak could go to. After that, you get the sense of feeling watched or the sense of anxiety. But mind speak only happens when a certain distance. That's why when the aliens do it, the person's lying on the table in front of them and they can hear it.
Right. Okay. Rick, I'll go ask you this. I'm going to read a question out in a minute, but I'll go ask you this.
Yeah.
Rick, have you ever experienced a Dogman?
No. I know where one is. As soon as I found out it was there, I stopped going. Because I'm aware of what they could do. They didn't have to physically hurt you, Phil. They could download information into your mind. So I refuse to go anywhere where these things are. I don't need physical proof that Dogman exist. I know they exist.
Can I
Okay, I
ask
didn't
Rick
need that.
what
And
information this is?
it's a place where I stay, Phil. Sorry, Colin. But what happened? The dog walkers had been talking about it. These dog walkers had been seeing this bear walking on its back legs. when I found out one of the persons who seen it, I went to their work and I asked them about it. And at first she was a bit hesitant, and then she told me the story how the dog walkers all walk a certain bit, and they see this bear standing on its back legs. And because it doesn't do anything, all they was putting the leads on their dogs. But the area where it was being seen was one of the places that I go. So that was it for me. I'm not interested in any contact with them. I know what they're capable of doing.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Colin.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Right. We've got Steve Collin. Hello, Steve. He says, "Evening, guys. Do you think dogmen are the same as werewolves or a different species? What do you reckon?"
Well, for me, they're one of the same thing. I mean, there's like
they're all for the same source.
Yeah, Native Americans say there's about 7 different types. It's like the human race. We're all humans, but there's like umpteen different types.
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Yeah, I do.
Colin?
I'm in with that. Sorry.
Okay, I've got to go against that.
What about shapeshifters then? Where does that come in? Because I'm with werewolves and dogmen. I think they're all the same, but shapeshifters, I think they're just a bit beyond
shapeshifters are
realm.
Okay, in my experience, what I believe there is a quadrupedal dogman entity which is called Old Shook. It's red eyes. It's been spoken about for many years,
that's
hundreds
the black
of years. Black dog, yeah, but it's still under the same. It's still a type 1 dogman in my book, because it has the same qualities as when you see a dogman. It has the same, to have that eye shine, but without any reflection of light. But it's still these Old Shook, these quadrupedal dogs still have that glowing luminescence of the eye. They have qualities about them, including the fear, emanating that fear and dread. In medieval times, they were very often the harbingers of doom. If you saw an Old Shook or a black hound, especially, they would frequent old burial mounds. They would frequent cemeteries. But if you saw one, it would mean that something bad is going to happen to you. We get the same feeling from a type 3 dogman, which is the archetypal dogman that you see with the big claws and everything else. You get that same feeling of dread and fear and the rest of it, and you get the glowing eyes, which is uncanny, absolutely uncanny.
Why, Phil, as some books that I have read, I can't give any references off the top of my head, to be honest, where the Black Shuck has led people to safety.
Yeah,
it has 2 parts. It has 2 personalities, I suppose. All those units have 2 personalities, where sometimes it's been a harbour of death, and sometimes it's been a saviour. It has led people to safety.
Yeah.
So where does that come into it?
Well, I think it's in the same parcel of a type 2 dogman, which is the flatter face, more gorilla type, bigger, stockier. They're not aggressive. They're not as aggressive as type 3. I've seen one.
Is it the Black Shuck still?
No. Now, this runs on all 4s, but it can stand up on 2 legs. But its natural movement will be on all 4s, but it's a lot bigger, stockier, thicker set. It hasn't got the chiseled body that the type 3 has. It's not a chiseled killing machine. But I think with that, then you've got the type 3, which is everyone knows from AIR and trail cams, which are, kind of like, I'm not saying that they're 100% proof, because they're not. There's a lot of AI going about. As for werewolves, getting back to that question, no, I don't think they are part and parcel of the same thing. I think with werewolves, I do believe that their werewolves are bigger. A male alpha werewolf is bigger than a dogman. A male alpha werewolf would would decimate a dogman. They are shapeshifters. There's been writings from medieval times where you have witches. Witches have turned into a werewolf entity. They are more your skinwalker type.
That's it. Look at all the native Indians. They had them all in there. Yeah.
Yeah,
Can't
the
think of
one
the
that
word.
shan't be named. The one that shan't be named. That's exactly right. Right, we've got another question. Remote viewer Peter Vincent said they are alien origin and teleport from underground ET technology. Okay, I
Yeah.
guess he means Dogman.
They are alien origin, and there are bases that are underground.
Yeah, I agree.
The
There, Rick. I
Himalayas,
do.
the bottom of the Pacific Ocean, Antarctica, that's where their bases are. And they will take them from these bases and put them down and then pick them back up when their mission's been accomplished.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I do. I think there's a symbiotic relationship between, especially with Bigfoot, Janu, Woodwoes. There's a relationship they have with
Just had that
aliens
one.
for sure. They do. A lot of times people have seen aliens, and right at that same location, very often you'll see cryptids,
They see
namely
cryptids.
Bigfoot.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I agree there. I do agree there.
But you see, Phil, they want us to make that association. If they didn't want us to see that, they wouldn't drop a Bigfoot off and allow themselves to be seen. They would remain cloaked. They want us to make that association so when the time comes, we understand where these entities are from. They're from the stars.
Mm.
If they didn't want us to know that, they wouldn't do it like that. They could easily drop them off at Ghost Islands, but they don't. They let certain people see it in order to become part of the narrative.
Mm. Do you know, I interviewed a guy called Wade and Running Crank, and he's part of the Blackfoot tribe. He's an elder. And he told me a fascinating story. He's a really nice, down to earth guy. And so native, obviously native Indian, Native American. And he said he was in his truck with his, I believe it was with his son. And as he was going along, he saw a UFO. And they hammered the truck. They put their foot down. They like, oh, let's have a look, see what's going. And it went into a canyon. This UFO did. So they stopped the truck. They had a little look down the canyon. They couldn't see the UFO, but guess what was there? It was a Bigfoot. Yeah, a Bigfoot was there. So the Bigfoot saw them. This is in the interview. Bigfoot saw them and gave chase. So they legged it in the van again, put the accelerator right down, and went off home. When they got home, it was still chase. He said, I was doing over rough ground, Phil. I was doing 50, 55 over rough ground, and the thing was keeping up with me. When we got home, it then started patrolling around the area around their home. And I believe that guy, man. I believe him. He's got nothing to. Yeah. So I agree with you. T says, Q question, please let Rick know that Rob is in the comments.
I've seen you, Rob. I noticed you, mate.
Okay, that's good. That is good. Hello, hello to T and to Rob as well. Yeah. Yeah. I'll let you read that one out, Carl.
What, blurry cameras? That memory card files interfere with media? Yeah, they do. Yeah. Yes, they do. Yeah.
He's speaking from experience.
I know why you picked on me for that one.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah, I do actually. I've had several occurrences. I think I was telling Phil a while back because I went out one Christmas day because I live on my own. And I was next to something and all my cameras just went dead. The memory cards, everything just went bloody dead. But the same theory that you were saying, Rick, one until I got in my car and got so many miles away, everything started working again. So yeah.
Yeah.
Everything does, it does zap them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it sure does. Do you think, Rick, that talking about like blurry images and stuff, do you think that it could be a case that because you spoke about these entities being photonic, entities.
Yeah. See,
Now, can you
I
explain
believe there's I believe there's actually two types. There's a genetic engineered version, and there's a type made of photonic matter. And the photonic matter is better seen in the shadow person. You know how the shadow person can make itself solid and go away. I believe that they've taken this to the cryptids to an umpteenth degree. You could not know that it was a different, it wasn't a flesh and blood. But I do know the photonic ones have the ability to shift shape. So there may be some in there regarding the shape-shifting ones that are seen. It could be the photonic ones. But the shadow people are the best examples of this. We've all seen them peeking around, and then people go and see them, they're away because they can morph the solid into electromagnetic energy and go through the walls. But this could only come through super advanced technology. And the only place with technology like that is what I've seen in the UFOs. So this is why I believe these are electromagnetic entities.
All right, yeah, all right. So well, it can't be one or other. It's either electromagnetic, or is it that they're electromagnetic, but the photonic ones? So basically, you think that as photons of light give form to these entities.
Electromagnetic photons that have been given mass are able to build themselves into the shadow people, and in the most extreme cases, versions of the Dogman. Look, you find examples where the cryptid has been shot at close range, shot at the chest, and it doesn't even flinch when it's getting hit with 2,000 pounds of kinetic energy. It doesn't even freak. Whereas other ones, when the cryptid squeals and does a run up, whereas these ones simply absorb it. You can't be flesh and blood and absorb 4 shots into your chest by 247. There are some of them that have to be a different nature, and the only thing I could see it being Phil is photonic matter.
Right. Okay. Right. I have a hard one with that. I do have a hard one with that. I agree with you that they've been shot at, and it seems to have no impression on them. It doesn't seem to have any impression on them. But I don't think photonic matter, because photons, take it as photons, don't have mass. They have velocity, but they don't have mass.
That's right.
Okay.
That's right. They do not, and they're trying to create them in mass, but as yet we haven't achieved that, Phil. I'll acknowledge that to you. But I'm talking about coming from a civilization that's perhaps hundreds of thousands and millions of years more advanced. They can do it. Listen, I felt a shadow person's hands in my throat. I walked 2 months in a row to be getting strangled. I could feel the hands, and I watched it as it split itself in half, and one part of it went to one corner, and one part of it went to the other corner. I know there's energy out there that can make itself solid.
How did it make you feel, that shadow entity? Regardless of when you first saw it, when it didn't put its hands around your throat, how did it make you feel when you first saw it?
Well, what you have to understand what's happening, Phil. I was having a dream, and in the dream I felt like I was choking, and I started to throw my body about. And when I opened my eyes, I could see the shadow person standing over me, but then it just disappeared, and it happened so quick that I didn't get any thought. I thought, you're coming out of a dream, maybe a wee form of sleep paralysis. Never thought of that. The next morning, I'm dreaming again, and I'm getting throttled, and can't breathe in the dream again. And this time I knew what it was. So I forced my eyes home, and sure enough, there it was. And I made a grab for it, and then it split in the middle. One half went to one side, one half went to the other side. And that was it. I never came back after that.
What did it look
so
like?
I know from personal experience they can make themselves solid, and yet they can go to an energy. And I can't find anything else, Phil, that satisfies that other than photonic matter. If you have a better solution to it, by all means, I'm up for listening.
Well, yeah, I mean, MIT, you know that MIT done.
Yeah, I know where you're going to go.
Yeah. Okay. So, but they had to put the photons through a gas, and they
Yeah.
as they put the photons through this inert gas, they said it created a certain amount of very small mass.
Yeah.
The only thing which I can't see photons or photonic, which is still out there. Photonic research is still very much out there. It's
Yeah.
borderline technology, if at all technology. But neutrinos, if you were to say neutrinos, yes, neutrinos do have mass, and thousands and billions of neutrinos are going through us at this very moment.
Right.
Yeah.
Which photons can't do. They reach objects and they stop, and that's it. They don't go through anything. Hence, why we get reflection of light, because it hits something and it reflects back. But neutrinos, yes. With this photonic for the shadow person, I've seen a shadow person once, and I've never felt such fear and despair and just imminent evil, but beyond
Yeah.
any
Because that was
physical evil.
producing the same field that was affecting your amygdala.
No, it wasn't. No, it wasn't. It wasn't. It wasn't. It certainly wasn't. I was awake. I was awake. I wasn't sleeping. It wasn't a dream. I was awake. I couldn't move, and it
Yeah.
wasn't affecting my amygdala in the
Sorry, how
brain.
couldn't you move? What, physically you couldn't move? Was something holding you there, or you just
I
couldn't
was
move because you're
conscious.
asleep?
Yeah, yeah. It was almost like pinned to the bed, if you like.
Yeah.
I couldn't move, but I saw it. It started off as why I was asking Mick what it looked like, because it started off as a swirling mass, a ball of black smoke, and then it took form and it
Your
raised up.
energy.
And as it
Yeah,
raised up, it
we've been
then
on
Yeah.
about this before.
it took the form of a triangle. So imagine Pied Piper with the hat and the that funny I forgot what they call it now. There's a word for it. That blokes used to wear the funny skirt, like footy skirt in the medieval days and Pied Piper days. Used to have that sort of. I saw it as a shadow. I didn't see any defining features. I didn't, but every part of that body, the legs, the arms were in triangles, and it had a hat on, and it walked. You remember
Yeah.
Monty Python's the Bureau of Funny Walks? You remember?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
we're
remember that?
Brilliant.
And he's
flicking
walking
his
down the
legs
Yeah.
up.
street, and he's putting his leg exaggerated. He's putting it so long. He's putting his leg right up to his
That was John
waist,
Cleese,
and he's
wasn't it?
taking a step. That was moving along the wall in the same manner with its leg, and then it stopped at the end of the bed,
Yeah.
and I sensed it. It saw me, and when it saw me, it came closer and it growled. It growled. It said something, couldn't make it out, couldn't understand it, but it was like a growling voice, if you like. But the fear, this despair was something I'd never had before or since, or since. And I was awake because I lived in this bedsit at the time, and there was a sash window, and there was some amber street light coming from below, way below, because I was in a townhouse, and I was on the top floor, and I heard a crash outside, and like kids causing problems. I could hear it as this was going on. Couldn't move, but I could hear it going on outside, and I thought, what on earth is that? This thing then moved, carried on along the wall, past the wardrobe with a mirror, and the mirror dimmed in the light, reflected light. It dimmed from the window, and then it left. In the morning, my bedroom door was open. Remember, bedsit, and it was full. The house was full of all different sorts of people. Not the sort of people, they're very transient, not sort of, but you would always keep your door locked. You would keep your door locked. I'm being honest. I had that evening 2 beers. That was it. And I went to bed because it was a school night. Yeah, I'd work next morning. So, I'm not going to have any more than that. And anyway, in the morning, I went down, got dressed. I was like, shaking my head. I was like, what was going on? First of all, the door was open. My bedsit door was open, but I never leave it open because you never know who's going to come in. The only shackles and things I had in my life were in that room. Not very much, but in that room. So I would lock the door, always lock the door. But anyway, left open. And when I went downstairs, eventually, I saw that they're off, believe it or not, off license, which we were above. The guy in the off license owned the whole section of building. It was on a high street, and it was a townhouse on the high street. So he had 3 stories above the shop, yeah, or 2 stories above the shop, yeah. So that would be about right. And his window was smashed in. And he said, the buggers. He said, last night, did you hear them? And I was like, actually, I did. My neighbour, there was a young couple. Colin knows this. It was a young couple, and they were constantly fighting. Okay, they would have a row. She was like, "I'm leaving you. I'm never coming back," and then she'd be off. Next evening, they'd be having a big wing thing, and it would be kind of like the bed would be thumping all night, and they'd be making up, And then the next thing would happen, I'm late. Oh, it was like forever. They're probably still at it at the moment. Anyway, so I went out and I saw her. I managed to see her. This is the girlfriend where, I'm leaving him. He's horrible. And she said, "Oh, you little bugger." She said, "Oh, who was that who came out of your bedroom then?" I was like, "What?" He said, "Yeah." She said, "Yeah, I saw someone come out of your bedroom." It was late. It was must have been 2 a.m, and they sort of slipped past the door and went down the stairs. What did they look like? She said, "I don't know." She said, "They just like dark, just like went straight down. They scarpered really quick." I was like, "Well, I had that effect," but she saw it as well. I didn't have. It wasn't anything that was put inside my head. It wasn't anything that was put inside my head, Rick. It was something which I was
I'm not saying it was. That was real standing there. That was a 4-dimensional entity you seen. It was there. There's no nothing you've said in that story that in any way makes me change my mind, Phil.
No, I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here to.
No. I'm just saying that the shadow entities are part of the same pressure force. They look, in many ways, they're the perfect military operative. They never get tired. They never get hungry. They never stop. They just keep going and going and going. This is why you see a lot of shadow people in places, ruin buildings and that. They're there. They know when somebody's come in. They know when to appear. They know when to make themselves seen to cameras or the human eye, but not cameras. It's all about what they're producing. I mean, do you know what it would take to create a solid black entity? You can for that to be that light sucking blackness it is. It has to be absorbing 99.9% of the light that's hitting it, Phil. You can, that's engineering that you're.
I think what we're talking about is there's definitely what's the word? Aliens, Dogman, Bigfoot, they're all related. They are. There is a central Genesis entity which is exuding these things, which is bringing these things out. And the one thing they all seem to have in common, when you look at witness testimony, the one thing they all seem to have in common is the innate ability to create fear. Tell me, Rick, what abduction scenario ends well for the person being abducted? It doesn't. They suffer. Everybody who gets abducted seems to go through some trauma of some sort. They're not nice people.
Yeah.
Yeah, Cole. Yeah. They're not nice people. They're not nice entities. And
listen, they are abducting people, which is kidnap, and when they probe them, that's sexual assault. They could keep the person totally unconscious, but no, they decide to wake them so that they see they're in the UFO, they see the entity standing around them, and then they pick them back. If a human did that to you, Phil, that would be kidnapping, sexual assault.
of
Just
course,
because
I agree
aliens
with you.
do it,
Yeah.
doesn't somehow negate what they're doing. Yeah.
I agree with you totally, and I think this whole thing that we have of this fascination and calling them down and calling them down and calling them down. We wouldn't really if it was some stranger roaming around the countryside, and we knew that there was some stranger in the countryside picking up people, putting them in the back of his van or her van, putting them on a table and probing them, and when they're screaming because they don't know what's going on, and they're just hit with intense light, and it just turns around to them in a fashion and says, "Why are you screaming?" It's like there's a disconnection. If they do not understand us, they do not understand our physiology, they do not understand our our mental capacity. They don't know how to reach us. Every time you find like accounts of people that have had men in black, they're the most unhuman people you could want to meet. The way they talk is very.
The men in black prolong the experience. They're there to drive the experience into the victim. So this is why they'll say, right, tell me what happened again, and again. I mean, the victims are too shocked to walk in the house and there's a men in black sitting. And right away, they know that they've been buzzed by a UFO. The MIB are part of the UFO experience. They pick it up after the encounter with a UFO in order to drive it into the person's memory.
Okay, right. Going to take a little respite there, Rick. What we're going to do? Dragonborn, said, Colin, what's your worst experience ever, other than being on the show?
Yeah, that's in the top 10, Phil, that one. My worst experience ever? Losing my father. He's the only man in my life that wanted me to do well or better than him. And having nobody to talk to, I've lost it. If you mean worst ever experience while I've been out, I've had several. I think these guys know. Me and Ian have discussed it, and so has Phil. I've had a lot. I've nearly literally pulled my pants. I had one 2 years ago. I swear a dogman nearly got me cornered. It was 3 o'clock in the morning. It was Dane's Dyke, and I ended up ringing a friend saying, "This is where I die." And they was nearly in tears, telling me to get back to my car, stop being stupid, get back to your car, get to safety, blah, blah. And I refused. And I was really, really scared, and this thing moved off. I think I told Phil, or Ian, and one of you I told, and I ended up walking back to the car, getting a coffee, calming down, and I went back out. But yeah, I've had loads, as these guys have had loads. It's not easy, as these guys know. I live by a rule, and I've tried to do this for years and years, and I think it's worth every researcher trying to do this. Danger is a choice. It is real. Danger is real. Fear is a choice. Sorry. Danger is real. So if you keep that in mind and try and train your mind not to jump at every little bang or twist or knock, you should be all right. But yeah, there's loads of times I've been scared, and I afraid to to say that. So, but it just drives us on, doesn't it? I suppose. I'm sure it does with you, Ian. I know you've told me lots of times you've nearly pulled in because they've been there right close to you. you know.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, but I think that's the worst experience I've ever had in my life is losing my father. I've lost my best friend.
I recently had experience about 2 months ago in Nooney Woods, and I was just coming to the end of a visit, and I had I was watching a video screen on my phone, and there were 4 black wavy patterns coming from left and right. I look up, but I can't see them physically, but on my camera phone I can. And they're like black shadows coming together, and they started forming a humanoid figure about 8 foot tall. I left. I took photos, I took pictures, but there's nothing on there.
Yeah.
And going
I
back
remember you
to
telling me that one.
yeah, and we used to have shadow people at work. When I used to live in Reading and I worked at that office complex, sometimes there'd be 2 of them side by side going down the side of the wall.
Yeah.
I don't know if I've been lucky or what. I've never seen a shadow person. I don't know. I've had a really bad childhood, and I've had all sorts in the bedroom, but I don't know if I have had them, or was it just sleep, desperation, or what? I don't know. But what is it with these shadow people, and what is it with the Hat Man? Now, I've read in a book, and I can't remember the reference, but it says if you knock his hat off, he's got to grant you a wish. What's that all about?
Yeah.
Do you know, Rick?
Rick?
Sorry. Is it me? Yeah.
No,
I
Rick.
don't know. I haven't heard of that one. Oh, Rick.
I don't know if he's getting me. Is he? Or I think
Can
the
you hear us,
screen's
Rick?
froze up. I don't know.
Is he frozen?
Rick?
Rick.
I remember we lost him, have we?
Okay.
Oh no,
I can hear you now. I missed what Colin said.
Okay. Right.
It was on. Sorry, it was on
It's
about shadow people.
right,
I don't
Colin.
think.
It's all right, mate.
Sorry. Yeah, it was on about shadow people. I don't know if I've ever had the experience. I think I have when I was a kid, but I'm not sure. But I read in a reference book a few years ago. Obviously, I can't remember which book it was. But the shadow people have a head person which wears a hat, the Hat Man.
Yeah,
now,
the
and
Hat Man.
it says in
I'm aware of that.
legend in there, if you knock his hat off, he's got to grant you a wish. Is this true?
No. Look,
No.
there has to be some kind of legend that comes with all this bizarre phenomena. That you often get an origin story with it. You can't knock his hat off because his hat is part of the electromagnetic energy that he has.
So that's part of him.
It's just a way. It's just a way to screw with us. Look, they can morph into orbs. They can morph into the poltergeist, i.e., be unseen. They could take shape as ghosts, i.e., the white face, the grey coat, the dark hair, or the orbs. These are the ones that truly are able to shape into different things.
Right.
Okay.
I'm going to play you a little something. This person I used to work with. Okay. And we were just chatting, and they're in no way, shape, or form. He is not a believer in anything arcane, anything when it comes to ghosts, or he said, "What? It's he lives in a very black and white world." But I asked him, I said, "Is there anything in your past, anything at all, which you've experienced, which you can't account for?" And this is what he told me. Now, I can't put it. I'm going to play it into the microphone, okay, from my phone, because I haven't got. Otherwise, it'll take me forever trying to download it and blah blah blah. Okay, here we go.
Right.
All right, might be a bit rough, but here we go.
I saw like when I was a kid, I woke up. Night, I saw like a shadow on the wall was waving at me. But I don't know how that's possible because it would be dark. So it would be shadow.
No, shadow people. No. Hang on a minute. Shadow people. I've seen a shadow person. Yeah, and I call it the Hat Man. And it was darker than dark of the room? Was yours the same? Like when you saw it, was it dark?
It must have been about 4 or 5.
How did it make you feel? Did it make you? Was it feeling of dread?
Yeah, it was scary.
No, did it emanate? Did it?
No, it was just.
Yeah, did it? It didn't make you feel like, oh, you've got to keep away from alcohol. Did it wear a hat? Did it have a hat? And that sounds funny, doesn't it?
I did see something else though when I was a bit older. I must have been about 6 or 7. I was playing in the courtyard of the block of flats we used to live in, and I did see shadow. They were on the wall and they were like climbing up in shadow people, like matchstick and like shadow people.
Oh.
But
Where was this? Where was this?
Where?
Where?
No, it wasn't where.
No, where was it?
I used to live White City.
Oh, White City?
White City, yeah.
How old were you then? You actually saw what you thought was the last touch of you all these years?
Yeah, but you know, a lot of that is imagination. Just like action.
Yeah, but at the time you thought as well.
Yeah, okay. Or yeah, but yeah,
There were a lot of them.
have you seen that?
And you were climbing up a drain pipe on someone's house?
Or on the flats.
Oh, on the outside of the flats. How high did they get? You see it?
I don't know. I remember not very high.
Was it daylight or
It's daylight. See, that's what I'm saying. It's like of my imagination. That's why
not necessarily? Not necessarily.
Have you seen that UFO?
Yes.
The one that.
Right. So, my light failed, but yeah. So that's quite interesting because he was sort of debunking it himself. Imagine it. No, it could be my imagination. He's a very black and white guy. You know, from that point of view, he just thinks that way. There's no grey area with him. Whereas I love a good conspiracy idea. But so it gave it that much more credibility when he told me. You know. But what do you? I mean, you know. We've got a question, Rick. What protection is there against cryptids? I'm going to turn my light on. Hold on.
Just going to disappear for 2 minutes, please. I'm very sorry, Phil, Ian, and Rick. I'll just need a low, so if you can excuse me.
Yeah, no worries, mate.
I won't be long. Thank you.
Protection?
Go for it, Ian.
I've never used any. I've never used protection. But
The best.
I've just basically said in my mind or said out loud, just like please leave me alone, not today, go away. In one instance, I said F off, leave me alone, I'm trying to sleep. I don't know anything about God. Other stuff like iron or salt or silver. I don't know.
Nothing would have stopped them, Ian. Nothing would have stopped that.
No, I think really the only thing is a direct verbal command. Like someone's bugging you in the park or the pub, you just say, "Oh, leave it out, mate," you know, just go away. And you know, every time it's worked. You know, but I mean, there's been like I say, I've had one of the walls sat in the corner of my bedroom at early hours of the morning, just squatted down looking at me, and I just went back to sleep. And you know, but
you're the best. You're the best example, Ian, because they have a purpose for you. They want something for you.
Yeah.
If you're out in the woods and you encounter a cryptid, what it will come down to is what will the cryptid? Where is it in its plan? If it's to terrify you, it will terrify you. You know, you're on, it stays behind you, never quite catches you, but increases it to your fear, follows you to the edge of the wood, and then stops.
Yeah.
But if it wants to take you, that'll take you. There is no protection.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Absolutely.
But
Yeah.
where we are, they're not going about killing people just anyway. They are taking people, but they like to be seen to be doing something. They like to scare a person, and the person then goes public with it, and it passes the fear on.
Yeah.
Right, Rick, we've got another one from PW4534. Rick, do you
Sorry,
think...
guys.
Hello, Cole. Got another question, Cole, for Rick. Do you think witchcraft is connected to cryptids, and that's what they worship in the woods?
It's a good question.
Good question.
The cryptids play multiple roles. I know for a fact that in some sort of demonic stuff, a cryptid may appear, but not because they're appearing out of nothing, but because they understand that they're helping these people to commit some sort of deed. The cryptids are tools of fear. What they have to do is cause fear. And if they didn't cause fear, what they do is cause you to question reality because you see something you can't believe. So will there be covens that maybe summon a Dogman? Yeah, that's entirely possible. But they're not controlling them. All the Dogmen are real entities. You're not conjuring one out of nothing.
Okay.
So they're
Rick,
real.
Can I ask you then, Rick? Right. So there's two sorts. You say there's one which is created by photonic energy.
Yeah.
And there's another one which is genetically made.
Genetically engineered.
Genetically engineered. Right. Okay. What is their purposes? What differentiates them in their purpose between a photonic one and a genetically engineered one? What is the purposes?
There isn't a difference in purposes. The reason that they sometimes use phonetic ones, for example, because it could get 6 shots pumped into its chest and no flinch and then walk back into the woods. Or it could fade itself out, thereby implying it's supernatural. You know, they use the engineered ones because they need to eat and then witnesses see them hunting deer, taking them down. So by using two different forms, Phil, they could cover a far better spectrum of abilities and makes it less likely to actually define what they are. See where Ian's coming from with his research. He's seen what appears to be an animal, a genuine animal, whereas another researcher is dealing with sort of supernatural aspects of them. They're not supernatural, they're phonetic and they're genetically engineered. Only two different versions could explain all the things that are getting seen.
Okay, right. But now you have to understand also that unless you have some kind of backup to the phonetic Dogman, the one created by light, essentially, it is just theory. You know that, yeah?
Yeah, that's it. I'm here to tell you what my theory is.
Okay, that's cool. All right, so when that question came up about the witches, do you think the question was, do you think that witches are able to conjure up or to utilize Dogman or Bigfoot? And do you think
I have heard. Sorry, Falk.
No, so yeah. Do you think they're able to conjure them up? And which I don't think so. Also, do you think that they're able to use them to do their bidding?
No, I don't think that's the case. They can't conjure them up because they're real entities, unless you the phonetic ones that can apply coming forward as a mist. But they're not conjuring them up. Those people are being used by the Dogman. They're not using the Dogman. You see, they're doing this in order to make witchcraft, black magic seem like it's a real thing. There's no such thing as magic. You know, there's always the magician is either using sleight of hand, illusion, or they're using science. So any group that seems to be able to make a dogman appear, that's only happening because the dogman is playing name.
Right. Yeah. I think magic. Yeah, it does exist. Magic does, and I
Yeah, I think
do
it does.
honestly believe.
Well,
I do
that
agree.
Phil, could
yeah.
you show me anything in this world that exists only due to magic? One thing. It doesn't matter what. You show me one thing that was produced by magic.
I would turn around and say, to a certain degree, us, all of us, as a certain amount of magic. There's this life spark at the point of a sperm entering an egg. There's a spark of light
So-
which has been seen.
Yeah, that's right.
And no one can account for that. Scientists can't account for that. They're not sure where that energy, that light comes from. If I was to ask you, you would go, "Oh, it's photonic. That's what it is. It's photonic. It's from aliens. It's photonic.
I would
We're
say
aliens."
the creator.
Okay, so that is essentially with us, because we are so intrinsically different to most species on God's earth. There is, in evolution, we have things where we still have monkeys. Yeah, we have very intelligent monkeys. We still have gorillas. So they have stopped in their evolutionary track. We haven't. We came from them, but we didn't stop. We continued on. But there's no backward comparable species to us that we can actually say, oh, they're pretty close. DNA wise, yes. But there's something magic from the point of view of with what is in here and our way of self-contemplation. No other animal has that to a degree of self-contemplation, where they're able to think about their reason for being. They just be. So I think a certain amount of magic is in us, and that magic does come out. There's people that I've spoken to, and I've done a lot of work in voodoo with Quambanda. It's a Brazilian type of voodoo, and they are quite heavily. They're Catholic based, but they're kind of like it's still an offshoot of voodoo, but they're able to alter a person's. If they want a person to be half goat, they're able to manifest that. I can't show you anything, but I do know of rituals which are very, very surprising. Very surprising. Not the nicest in the world, but I do know of some. Yeah. Not the nicest methodology, put that way, but yeah, I do know some. So when someone says, "Oh, there's no magic in it," there is magic, yes, and we are part magic. We're not, there's nothing with us, Rick. There's nothing which is related to us. We're kind of like standalone. When we were made and we had this air, this brain of self-contemplation. Why are we here? What is our purpose?
But don't you think we was engineered?
To a certain degree, I don't think we're indigenous. I don't think probably we're indigenous, Cole. Yeah, I think you're right, because it's that I read a book a little while back. I've forgotten who wrote it now. De Silva, I think his name was, last name, and he's a proponent of saying that we're not indigenous because we give birth so awkwardly, so traumatic.
Look at our young. They take months and years. All wildlife was up and running within 10 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah. We have we suffer with gravity a great deal.
We do.
Our skins burn. Now I know that you get pigs which get sunburn, and that's why they roll in mud. But we suffer with skin problems. We're very hypersensitive to chemicals and the thing is that look, if we were kind of like natural evolution, then wouldn't you think over the millennia, over the years, we would get accustomed to gravity? But we're not.
Yeah, but
How
if
many
you're on
people do you
about evolution, you would see giraffes in banks or chimpanzees serving in pubs or something. We can't. The only one that's evolved, I think personally, we was grabbed as a chimp. Our friends in the skies banged our DNA up. There you go, bang. Whap. We've got some slaves, basically. Or we
What
was
do you
an
think, Ian?
experiment that we went wrong. Mega.
I think okay. I think evolution's a theory. I used to believe in it because obviously it's what you get taught at school.
Yeah, but the history books want rewriting, Ian, don't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, absolutely. But I say that there's that DNA scientist that said human DNA is older than the planet.
Yeah.
I believe that again, if we go back to this Sumerian book of creation, which was later copyrighted or plagiarized as the Old
By the Anunnaki.
Testament. Yeah, this making the first man, Adam, out of clay. Or again, Queen Tiamat. She seems to be like one of these leading bioengineers. So I think there was an awful lot of trial and error before we came into being.
And Neanderthal and all that. There was all different races, weren't they? So,
Yeah.
What do you think, Rick, to all this? Do you think we was engineered?
No, I think we were about the only ones that weren't engineered. Look, they put the Neanderthal genome against the Homo sapien genome. And what they found was there's a gene called TKTL1. And this gene produces lysine in the Neanderthals. The gene mutated and produced adenine in Homo sapiens. And with that production came more frontal lobes. It's not nothing to do with engineering. It's nothing to do with God making us. That's what evolution is. There was at one point, Phil, there was 8 other tribes, different species of humans around. You go back 40,000 years, there was Neanderthals and there was the hobbits. We're the only ones that aren't engineered. The things that we're running into are engineered. But they want us to believe that because what they want is for us to walk on the UFO without any hassle, thinking we've been taken home. Think of the rapture. Oh, God's coming for the skies to take us away home. Yeah, you're getting took home, okay. Right? Whether it's through God or whether you believe the aliens made us, what it is to put into our minds to separate us from our planet. This is our home. We were not engineered. I'm not going to argue with anybody on it because I understand how the people arrive at these conclusions. But if you're asking me, mine, no, absolutely. We can be traced literally all the way back to that very first little thing, 3.5 billion
I know, I've just been reading some research, and Neanderthal is still found in our DNA.
Yeah, that's right. We mated with them, and there's an average 2 to 4%.
Right. No,
So we
completely. I
absorbed
just read that a couple of weeks ago on some research.
Yeah.
I can't remember. I think it was Japanese, some scientists in Japan, I think, found it out. I mean, our DNA is all mixed up, to be honest. But I can agree with you there, Rick, to be honest. It's a good theory, is that?
It is only our species that can farm ourselves to the degree that the alien humans want, because this is all heading somewhere. This is all heading to the one final harvest. We're farming ourselves for them. They gave us astronomy, they gave us agriculture, and they just sit back and they let us use all the calories and turn it into human flesh. When they come back, they're coming back for us.
Did you just say right? So they're coming back for us for human flesh. That's what they're interested in.
Yeah. That's
Okay,
it.
can you expand on that?
Another human is the best food for humans. It requires a lot of processing by the body. Not only that, I'm sure there'll be certain body products that they harvest in order to maintain their immortality. You see, there's this theory, well, if they were going to harm us, they would have done so by now, unless they're waiting for 10 billion people before they come. So they're not going to harvest us, they're not going to invade before now. They're only going to show themselves at the right time. How I think that's going to work. What's going to happen? There's going to be some sort of nuclear launch, and then the aliens are going to intervene, shoot down the UFOs, and say to the people of Earth, look, this is what your own governments have done to you. Let us lead you.
Right. PW4534 as said in the previous message, Rick, what do you think of structures that we find in the woods, the teepee structures and other wood structures?
I think they're to be associated with the Dogman. I think they're structures put where there isn't a Dogman in order to create the illusion that they're all round about us. They are there, but not to the degree. So if they're not in a wood for various reasons, if they leave the structures there, people see the structures and automatically assume, oh, the Dogmen are here.
Right, that doesn't make any sense to me. So you're saying that these structures are left to say that Dogman is there when they're actually not there.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a ruse. It's deception, Phil.
Right. Okay.
Look. I watched one of Colin and Ian's videos, and they were in this wood, and they were filming the falling over trees. Here's the problem what I have with that. Those fallen trees were about 30 yards from a main track. There is no natural predator, bear, wolf, puma, that would have their birthing den near a main track. Right? I didn't know any other predator. Ian, you've seen young Dogmen in the den, and you didn't move them. And
no,
yet these supposedly super intelligent entities. No, they're creating the illusion that they're everywhere. It's part of the deception, Phil. If they can't be supported,
Rick, there's no what is the deception? There's no reason for the deception. It's like saying, right, okay, we're not actually there, but if you look at that stick structure, we are there. I mean, it's just ludicrous. And a lot of this does seem absurd, right? That we see and we witness. We witness a lot of stuff which, if we were to recount it to someone, which we do, all of us are guilty of this. We recount stuff we've seen and experienced in the hope someone believes it because we experienced it. But when you recount it, it seems so flipping ludicrous. It seems so bizarre. And we're all guilty. We all have had the same thing happen, from shadow people through to Dogman, through to Bigfoot, through to ghosts, through to aliens. It's all so bizarre, but I don't think they go to the trouble. I think these structures that we see, the big X's with the trees, I think we see the trees. I haven't personally seen this, but the trees are taken up and then uprooted and the roots standing up. I think Ian's seen that. The teepee structures, the intertwined, which are weaved. They're weaved together. These and all the wood is taken up. It's oh my God. If someone told me, Phil, I'll tell you what I want to do, right? I want you to make a teepee structure, but no. I don't want you to cut down the wood. I want you on your hands and knees or bent over with your herniated discs in your back. And I want you to pick up the sticks and weave them together into a structure which isn't waterproof.
Phil, can I ask you a question?
Of course.
Can I ask you a question, Phil?
Yeah.
Have you ever once seen a Dogman in any of these structures?
No.
No, right. That was Ian. Have you ever once seen any Dogman inside these structures?
I've seen one in Thetford Forest that was looking right back at me. I've seen a cub, There's a former associate I saw her earlier this year. Now, where she lives outside of Bournemouth, there's a hill with a big wood, and she caught a female with 2 cubs in one, and the thing backed
Right.
out.
Yeah, I'm sure it did. Do you not see that wild predators look for the most remote locations to have their birthing dens? And what we're expected to believe, these humanoid entities are birthing in wooden structures where people in the public are walking past. Do you not see the deception, Phil? Do you not see
Oh, yeah,
it set
I've
up?
I've seen a Type 2 Dogman. I've caught it on video. I've got it on video where you can
Yeah,
make
I
out
believe you.
Type 2 Dogman, not in a teepee structure. It had a pallet up against it. And I didn't even see it at first. It wasn't until one of my followers, Dawn, actually, who's actually in the moderating, she turned around to me. She said, "Oh, Phil," said, "I think there's something I saw on the film," and I looked, slowed it down, look, and you can see it blinking, a big gorilla face thing, but it wasn't in a teepee structure. It was like a shack, but it had a pallet up against it, and it was looking at me as I was going past, big, huge thing. I got that on video as well. So yeah, we have seen one instance of
But you're
entity in
supposed
one.
to say, look, the reason that I asked you, Phil, if you could bring Ian into this, and I wasn't sure about Colin, but what I could say about you and what I could say about Ian is that you are getting contact with the Dogman, especially Ian, for their propaganda, for their reasons. I mean, Ian, what animal would turn up at your house? How is that even possible?
Yeah.
That's an animal doesn't do that.
Well,
And listen, mate.
I actually invited one. I verbally and mentally communicated, because my line of thinking was, if I'm going into their home, I think it's only decent and proper that I invite them to mine. And the first experiences, they would just like stay at the end of where I was living at the time, just stay right at the back of the garden, and all I just see is the red eyes. And one time I actually opened the back door and said, "Come on in." And it was only later I thought, dude, that was pretty dumb. That was in the first year.
So what you're saying is the Dogmen understand English.
They understand.
They understand human speech. Right.
Yeah.
In order to understand human speech, you must have a human brain. You can't get around about that. You're not dealing with animals. You're dealing with military operatives whose mission is to cause terror, to hold the ground. Why do you think they're coming forward into the urban areas? Wild animals didn't do that. They're coming in to cause fear and control the woods.
But what makes you think that they are genetically made and they're humans which have been genetically altered into?
Because, listen, Phil, they don't exist in the fossil record yet are found in all these countries. Here's how you do it. Here's how I think the best should do it. They take a human genome, they remove skull for a human, splice in the skull for a wolf. What you do is you go through and you function, splicing the features. Splicing wolf features, you got a Dogman. Splicing ape features, you have an ape man. Splicing reptile features, you have a reptile man, and so on. Listen, in 2022, the first human transplant for a pig, for a heart of a pig was transplanted to a human. That pig was a chimera. That pig was technically a pig man. In 2022, if we are doing that already, what is a civilization that's hundreds of thousands more years advanced than us doing? Let me point something out to you. Let's assume that life on planet Earth only occurs in yellow dwarfs like our sun. There's yellow dwarfs that are in our galaxy that are 1 billion years old. Any civilizations that's on them are going to be millions of years more advanced than we are. We're all genetically engineering already, Phil. We're already taking something and putting it into something else. It's happening.
I still don't. I tell you why. Look, Look, Rick, why is a Type 3 Dogman with the claws and the chiseled body, the V shape, strong legs? Why are they made like that? Why are they so predatory when there's nothing around? Even in America, when they got the black bears, brown bears, there's no competition. Why do they look like that? Are you just saying that they're roaming around just to scare? Is that what you're saying?
Look, they play different roles, Phil. All right. So some people look at them as think they're animals. Some people think they're supernatural. No, they play these roles on purpose. The reason they're like that is because other humans, at the depth of their minds, says, what would terrify these humans the most? How do we design these entities? They are instruments of terror. So when you see a Dogman, you draw a breath because you think what it can do. You didn't find that in nature. They've got features together that shouldn't happen, that could only happen genetically. They do all the different cryptids, and so that we don't realise that we're dealing with one single army.
Right. Okay. Well,
They're the military of the future, Phil.
Yeah. So okay. So if they're the one single army, are they on our side or not? They're not on our side. Is that what you're saying?
Listen. See, if I had my way, I'd kill every single one of them without mercy. They are our enemies. And what they do is they try and engage with people, so these people will then speak for them. It's really clever. So you got some parts of society say, no, we see a Dogman walking in the field every day, it doesn't bother us. Yeah, it's only no bothering you because the plan is to walk like that so the people see you do nothing, and they think, well, they're okay.
I've been in situations, Rick, where I've been in situations where it's been quite scary.
Yeah.
Because I tend to go out on that. I don't go out normally with people, but I tend to go out. I've been out with Carl and Ian, but I tend to go out to places on my own. And very often I hear a voice and it warns me. It's a very deep, low, robotic voice. And I've heard it since I was a kid. And it isn't there to scare me, it's to warn me. And it very often tells me to leave now, or go from this area. And it calls me by name. So what do you make of that? Other than me being psychotic.
Look, Phil, they clearly have a plan for you. Okay? They're pulling you into something and you're aware of it. And I understand that nothing's going to stop you reaching whatever it is you think you're going with it. But you're being played. They're going to show their true colours in the end because they're going to walk out of the forest and society is going to shut down. And that's when you'll see the UFOs in the sky.
Okay.
There are certain people that they deal with differently.
Got another question from PW4534. Rick, how is a cryptid able to follow a person thousands of miles away? Is that a UFO dropping them off?
Yeah, now you get it. That's exactly what's happening. And in Britain, what seems to happen when the winter leaves are falling and that, the cryptid sightings go down because they're vulnerable. They're vulnerable to aircraft. They know that, look, the government knows they're here. They're at a loss what to do with them. So they're taken out of the environment they're in and then put back in when they have certain things to do. So they might be run 100 sheep into the ground and then they're taken back up. So yeah, okay. They're moved by UFO.
Right, with UFOs, can I ask, and this goes out to you, everyone here, right? Why is it with aliens that now we know that they're not the nicest people to be abducted by? I'd rather be abducted by a Mr. Softy ice cream van than I would any day of the week than a UFO. So I wouldn't be kind of like trying to get one down. But why do you think that with the orbs we see a lot of times, and with these ships that they have, do you think these ships are organic? Do you think that because they seem to be able to morph, they seem to be able to change shape depending on kind of who's viewing it, I suppose? What do you think these ships are?
Well, I think some of them are definitely physical. Because I mean, if you take post Roswell, one of the chaps on the Air Force officers, you know, this liquid metal, it could solidify as well as become a goo, and they're lightweight, and yet they tried everything, and you know they couldn't cut it. They tried or what do you call it? Not,
Oxyacetylene.
yeah, that's
they
it.
did, yeah.
So this obviously they have the ability to make organic or symbiotic craft that sort of merge with the subconscious of these creatures, and they can go anywhere in the cosmos in the blink of an eye. I think whatever type of metal or organic material they're using obviously has the ability to withstand great speed, heat. I mean, you got those NASA videos where you see these UFOs going right up to the sun and drawing energy off them. So, I mean, obviously they have a certain, excuse me, obviously they have the ability to do work wonders. Some might consider it a form of magic, but I think they have the ability or a level of engineering that is not only biological but as well as material, and they can somehow blend it all into one big soup and do whatever they want.
Yeah, I agree. I think I think I think these ships are some of the ships are organic. I believe. You see, the thing is, look, you got to take it on this, right? And this is just me, and see. It'll be interesting to see what your thoughts are. We're kind of in the dark ages, right? Where's it gone? Hang on. Oh, hang on. There we go. Okay. Hey, Greg. We're in a way like dark ages. I remember in 1642, right? Not I remember, but I'm not out. But during the witch trials, Matthew Hopkins, John Stern, they'd be called to a village, and there'd be a lovely old lady accused of witchcraft. Why is she accused of witchcraft? Well, because she had a altercation with a neighbour, and the neighbour's cow died. It just like that's it. And so obviously they call him Matthew Hopkins, and Matthew Hopkins right, so you cursed the cow, did you? Right, so that's you, even though she's a lovely old lady. If they had forensics, and if they had even an understanding of microscopic understanding of bacteria and of foot and mouth, any disease, number of diseases, they would have come to the conclusion that that lovely old lady wasn't a witch. She didn't curse it. But they didn't. And that's not that long ago. We are in the same situation. We think we're so advanced. We're talking on this. We're talking and looking at each other on this. How advanced is that? Well, no, not really. It's not. No, it's when we see these ships, we see those ships as being the cow. Yeah, we don't have the ability to work out, and that's the frightening part. We don't have the ability to know, because we don't have the technology to understand what these ships are. We don't have that technology, so of course it's a bit scary, and it's a bit muddling, and it's a bit confounding, because perhaps those which do have the ability or know keep it to themselves, and we're in the dark, and we're still fumbling around going, oh well, that essentially that cow in the sky, we have no idea because we're so behind. That's all it is. It may be in another 20 years' time. Yeah, of course, we'll know. We'll know the gravitation engines, the torsion. I believe it works on a torsion engine. I mean, there was talk of on the periodic table. It's recently, a few years back, been found element 115, which is a derivative, almost like of it's quite high on the periodic table, so it can deteriorate very rapidly. It doesn't last very long, but it has qualities when it's put into a magnetic torsion with two discs and then fired with electricity. It has that effect of actually creating a gravitational effect in itself. And they believe that it propels its way that way. But this is all theory.
Well, the Germans, there were 3 anti-gravity propulsion designs that were lodged with the patent office in New York in March 1945. And there was an Austrian inventor who used water as a form of fuel for an anti-gravity propulsion unit. And that design, there's pictures of that, and that was developed during the war as well. And basically, this thing could propel some at 20,000 RPM, and somehow create an anti-gravity field or some form of propulsion.
You're talking the Die Glocken, the bell, Nazi bell.
No, that was used for something else. But in terms of an anti-gravity propulsion unit, there was one that used water as the fuel, and then there's another. There was another 3 that were registered with the U.S. Patent Office in March 1945, because as the war was coming to a close, the transfer of technology by General Hans Kammler had already begun. So there's the guy who invented the neutron bomb in 1981 gave a speech, and he said, we have the ability to send ET back home.
He did, yeah.
And he said it's something to do with the subconscious. And in the same speech, he said red mercury explosives was real. So that exact, whatever the military have, or the ability, is either 50 or 100 years, whatever, is in Civvy Street. So, I mean, there's position papers or research papers from the 1950s describing aerodynamics of a flat circular wing. But this is human designs. They're not talking about extraterrestrial, but the effects of a human design type craft. And obviously, you got the hover mole and all the rest. So, I think, like I say, with a lot of these companies, the human version.
In 2004, defense contractor John Deering, chief scientist at SARA, SARA, in Cypress, California, claimed to have built a simplified Bell device at a cost of 1.2 million, which demonstrated an anti-gravity effect. However, he then refused to reveal any details about it to Tim Ventura, who wanted to publish a book on the subject. The alternative theory is that the aim of the project was not anti-gravity but time travel, which is the Glocken. That was the Glocken. That's what the Nazis were working on.
There is one that fell out of the sky in a field in Colorado in 49.
There was, yes, there was.
Or 1950.
Yes.
Not far from a US airfield.
Yes, that's right. There was, and they even saw the same markings on it.
Yeah.
As were on the original plans built by the Germans. The same markings on that bell structure. Yeah. We've got a question for you from PW4534 Rick. Do you think ETs put portals in cemeteries for cryptids to enhance the fear?
I think, excuse me, I think they teleport cryptids into specific areas in order so they're viewed as some sort of guardians, things like that. So basically, yeah, they are put into them, but it's by teleportation, no portals.
Okay.
If you ever see in the Bible in Luke 24:31, Jesus is standing with all the disciples. They're in a locked room, and he suddenly disappears. And then in 24:36, the disciples are in a locked room, and all of a sudden, Jesus appears in front of them, and they're terrified. That would be examples of teleporting. Teleporting is how the 411 is working, how the people are going missing, how their relatives are turning their back, and they just go. Teleporting has been weaponized, and it snatches them. That's the only thing that can explain the 411. So they use teleporting to put them in.
Right. Okay. How do they? A lot of times when you find clothes are folded up and shoes put neatly, they just like say.
Yeah.
Strange.
They take them off and put them back down. They often take them and hold them alive for say a few weeks, and then when they put them back down, when places have been searched, they discover that they've been gone for a month but only been dead for 2 weeks. It's all a mind game. It's all just fucking weird. So sorry, Phil, but that's how they do it.
I knew that would get you in. Yeah, it's like a kid at school.
Oh, come on.
I'll tell you what. I'm going to put this up. I've seen it in the comments. I've got to put this up. Right, Rick. Here we go. Right, right, and kind of like be tactful with this one. All right, be tactful.
Right.
Yeah. Right. Okay, Rick. Do you believe David Icke?
I think David Icke is onto things, but ultimately he's lost.
Okay, right.
He's more commercial, isn't he?
He does more damage than good.
Okay, right. Okay, that's okay. I just had to find out. All right, no, that's fine. Yeah, I went to see David Icke at Norwich. I think it was in December or November. It was really wet, horrible, rainy evening, and I was sat in the audience, and every time I put my hand up to ask a question, never once was I chosen. Never once. And my face didn't fit. And I had the distinct feeling that and I messaged him no times, quite a few times. Look, can I talk to you? Can I talk prior this is and every time I put my hand up, I had a distinct feeling he was cherry picking questions, or he had people in the audience. That were primed to give. Yeah, I had that feeling.
I think for me, the only time he was ever right, if we go back to the alleged VIP pederast rings around Parliament, the House of Lords, or the London establishment, he wrote a book over 20 years ago. It was about 700-800 pages long, where he was naming names and whatever. And obviously, some years later, in some ways, he was sort of vindicated. And he was asked, like, where did he get this info? And he said MI5 was sending him reams of A4 envelopes in the post, or the documents. So obviously, they wanted to use him for a specific purpose, but obviously, because of who he was, it could easily be debunked. You know, if you're claiming the Queen's a lizard being or whatever, you know, you can go, well, David Icke, innit, you know?
Yeah, he's got a hell of a following. I sat next to a German couple, and I said, "Oh, yeah, you all right?" And she said, "Yes, very well." She said, I come from Germany for this. I was like, "All right, doesn't he? Why didn't you save yourself the flight and wait until?" No, he's not allowed in Germany. They won't let him in. So
No.
she's come over here to see him in Norwich. Yeah.
Wow.
So that was
Wow.
quite odd. He's parts of him, parts of what he says, I do, kind of believe when he talks about the governments being so conspiratorial.
Mm.
Not so much the governments, the government behind our governments, and I think that there is quite a lot of validity in what he says there. I think that we're kind of, there's certain things which we kind of like we kept happy as a species, as a people. We have to be happy, and certain things makes us happy. I know certain things are fed to us, the drivel on TV and everything else, and but yeah, I think we are manipulated quite a lot by the governments, as it were. Rivington Pike Beast Lee Roscoe says, after watching Missing 111, watch Missing Enigma. You will be
I've
shocked.
watched it.
Have you seen it, Carl?
Yeah, it's pretty good. It is good. It is sort of like mind-blowing stuff, really. It is good. I mean, the 411's good anyway with David Pilates, but
Yeah.
I think some of it's wrong. But that's my personal opinion.
Okay.
I just quickly. The guy died a few years ago, but there was an ex-former Alphabet Agency guy I was in contact with in America, and in one email he once told me that from 1954 to 2010 there was about 10.4 million Americans that had been literally physically taken up and not returned.
Didn't they have some type of pact? I read something to do with the government.
I don't know about that, but we used to talk about a lot of stuff. A lot of it was like military and German military history and ocean liners, and with some of my family's connections with maritime and naval history. But sometimes he would sort of veer off topic, and then in one email he just said, yeah, in that sort of 40-50 year period, about 10.4 million Americans have been adopted and just never came back.
It is mind-boggling.
It is, isn't it? Right. I think we're coming up to 2 hours now. Rick, is there anything to close? Anything that you would like to tell the people, or warn them about, or kind of give them some advice with what you've learned and what you know?
Well, I would say this. This is all heading to somewhere. The world is going towards something. And when America collapses, as it will, when the banking system's controlled by the Chinese and the Russians, and when in Jerusalem they build the third temple on the mount, then it's getting close to them coming.
I'll probably build it in the wrong place anyway.
Weapon. And what the Pesha don't want is the world ruined by nuclear war. So even though they're instigating both sides, there is going to be some sort of nuclear launch, but they're going to stop it. And then they're going to ask the people of the world, who do you want, us to control you or your governments? And if we see them, then we're screwed. So all I would say is keep an eye on the Middle East.
Okay.
Rick?
Yeah, lost him.
Oh, there he is.
Okay, there you go. Okay, keep an eye on the Middle East. All right. But then, the Middle East has always been volatile, hasn't it? I mean, if I wanted to go down a conspiracy, I'd say, they don't
like this, Phil.
It's because they don't have fluoride in their water.
Bromide.
No, seriously. I heard this, because fluoride is a known neurotoxin that was given to in Auschwitz to keep people subdued. They would give them doses of fluoride
as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and obviously we have a certain amount of fluoride in our water. I think chlorine, we have 0.03 parts per million of chlorine as well. But that keeps us to a certain extent. We're not saber rattling, but in the Middle East, they don't have fluoride in their water, so of course they're But hey, what do I know? It could be. Got a quick question from PW4534. Rick, do cryptids live as orbs in trees, as Matthew Johnson says, or is that disinformation to confuse?
What he's dealing with are the phonetic versions of the cryptids that can morph into the orbs. So technically that is true. They can do that. But he doesn't realise they're just weaponising themselves. The flesh and blood variety can't do it. But the phonetic ones can.
Right. Is it the same for Bigfoot? Are they our enemy as well, would you say?
All the cryptids are their force, them all. But by working us different ways. So the Bigfoot aren't as aggressive as the Dogman. It's good cop, bad cop. They all play in relation to each other, but they're all created by the same hand, by the same way.
Right. When the CE5 group reach out and may meditate, are they meditating, in your opinion, are they meditating with Petra? So I don't like using you. To be honest with you, I don't like using
I understand why. I understand that.
I don't like using the acronym Petra because it's almost
fair enough.
Like, because one, if I was pulled it apart, sort of like parasitic doesn't make sense, but it doesn't matter. But are they connecting with this entity you call Petra? Are they connecting with that?
Yeah. All the different kinds of aliens, all the supposed different variations, they're just genetically engineered humans. They all belong to this other civilization. They break them into different aliens, and different aliens go to different countries and give different information. It's all the same. If you're communicating with someone in the sky, it's coming for them.
Right, got you. Okay. As for that question with portals and cemeteries, yes, I do believe portals, cemeteries. There is one in particular, Camberwell Cemetery.
Yeah.
There's definitely a portal there. I can vouch for that, definitely. Yeah, I got it on video once again of a quadrupedal Dogman kind of like.
Yeah, I've seen that one, Phil.
That was a bit strange. Right, Rivington Pike Beast. Great chat tonight. Yeah, okay, gents, Phil,
Very welcome.
Rick, Ian, thank you.
Welcome.
Oh, thank you very much indeed. I appreciate that.
Good to hear from you as well, Lee.
It is, yeah, it is. It's nice to see you on here, actually, Lee. It's very nice seeing you. And to everyone. And if it's okay, I'm going to wrap it up because it's over 2 hours. I know you've got more, Rick. I know there's more. And I think what we'll do is we'll pencil in getting together another time, I think. Does that sound cool, guys?
Yeah, I'd be up for that.
Yeah.
I'd be up for that.
All right, that's cool. So, Rick, thank you very much for coming on. I appreciate it. And listen, the greatest respect for you, honestly, and I think the work you do is unique. I don't agree with all of it, you know that, but I do respect the work you do. And Ian, obviously, mate, you're just like your class, so relaxed. Look at you.
The drugs.
Colin, it's been what do you think tonight's show, Carl?
Fantastic. Like I said, let's do part 2, Phil. Let's get it up there again and do it. Get it more advertised, this one. Let's get it out there.
I think so. Okay, right, I'm going to take us all off. Thank you very much.
Cheers, guys.
Thanks for having me, Phil. Ian,
Thank
you.
Right.
See you later, mate. Chat soon, hopefully.
Yep, for sure.